So probably this is one of the most worrying cases because, you know, pastures are important for the amount of carbon that is on the soil. Probably in this process, converting from pasture to build something, we lose the carbon that is there, apart not being able to sequester, capture the carbon. But we can also look, okay, it changed from something to the natural, etc., to new uses. So here, what we see in the axis is different artificial uses. We see industrial, commercial, what it's called urban sprawl. It's many dwellings, diffuse, construction sites, mines, transport, sport and leisure, dam sites, etc. The bars represent all are for the different pirates and different groups of countries. But simply, if we look at this dark, this would be the 2018, year 39. It's the industrial and commercial, it's most of the destination of this land take. And then it comes to urban and construction sites. It means that at the time of the satellite image look at the place, it identified this was under construction, so it also highlights the dynamic of the process. And more or less, this is the final destination. We should take into account again the resolution. So probably what it's the dwellings, the residential areas, sometimes probably with Corinne, we are not able to capture this process. So another important aspect is we have a huge amount of information derived from that. And now what the AI is developing is a system to put in more a system way and easily to understand. It's called this dashboard. So just an example, you have an introduction explaining the topic, then overview statistics. You can go through the different and also are interactive. I just want to show this is the same figure or the combination what we have seen before. Land take is the final destination, construction, urban sprawl, etc. But then here we see where these new construction sites mainly coming from arable land and permanent crops and pastures and mosaics. And also we see that mainly this regreening, it's agriculture and forest. And here you can, but what is interesting, since we have that, we can not only look at, from the classification of Corinne, we can look at the ecosystem and services. This MAES initiative is coming from the biodiversity strategy, and one of the objectives is to map the European ecosystems, their status, condition, and their ecosystems, and the ecosystem services. So here, what we see is the classification according to these ecosystem types. So we see cropland, grassland, woodland and forest, heathland and shrub, so it's slightly different. And then we see for each new destination what type of ecosystem we lose. We have seen that, and probably you already thought, yeah, but there are some problems. And that's true, there are several problems. It was useful when the 7 Environmental Action Program came, and there were not any information. So it was a first saying, look, there is a problem with the land take and need to look closer to that. First, the resolution, it's clear. And secondly, if we look at the classification of artificial surfaces, this 4 level that it's sport, leisure facilities, and green urban areas are included. So it's included in the land take. So this is something that could be improved, taken out. And the question is, the classification, we can always say what is in and what is out, but the resolution we could not change. So there are 3 alternatives to improve the resolution. One is Urban Atlas, another one is the imperviousness or sling, and then is the new Corinne. Just basically, without entering very much in the details, in Urban Atlas, what we have is higher resolution. We still have land cover classes, but more detailed resolution. We have additional attributes. For example, now we have building height. or we have a layer on trees on the street, but it's only on FUAs or large metropolitan areas in Europe. On imperviousness or soil sealing, we have a much higher resolution, but it's binary. We don't know what is there. We only know what previously it was not sealed, and now it's sealed. And we have more frequent updates. So Corinne and Urban Atlas is every 6 years, and this soil sealing is every 3 years. This is the coverage of Urban Atlas, and I would say, for example, that is a good example in Budapest that they use the information on Urban Atlas to have a tool for planning, and also to work with the stakeholders. If we want to densify this neighborhood and we want to build here and there, what will be the implications in terms of increasing the density of built up, or in comparison with the population of, if we increase the population, how this ratio change? Just to give you a flavor how it looks like. So this is Corinne, Bologna, this is Urban Atlas, and then this is the soil sealing. So here is only black and white. But for example, we see clearly the structure of the airport, where here the airport is a polygon, that is this class. Again, in soil sealing, the EA has developed several indicators, and this is the soil sealing from 2006, 2015, and here are the changes. So in between 9 and 12 increased, but now it's decreasing. And it's again a kind of consecutive dashboards that guide anybody that is entering to here and able to download the data. And finally, the Corinne Land Cover Plus that now is starting and probably will be implemented in 2024. It will have a better resolution, half hectare, and then it will have improved system of classification. More than classification, we have attributes that would be easier to tackle these topics. So in conclusion, what we have, Corinne Land Cover and the indicators that the EA has developed provides European-wide assessment, but the resolution is too coarse. So for the cities and probably regions, probably is not enough. At European level, give a first indication and the magnitude of the problem. And then the green urban areas are included, but this is easy to solve because it could be excluded. Although some people is arguing if it was a former forest or other semi-natural moving to green urban area, probably it's changing the quality or other properties, but in principle, this is easy to solve. Alternative, Urban Atlas provides a higher resolution, but it does not cover the complete Europe. So for certain stakeholders or maybe users would be useful, and is not covering the complete Europe. Finally, soil sealing or imperviousness, it provides a much better resolution, higher monitoring frequency every 3 years, but we don't know what we lose in principle or the use. We could combine with the soil tab, for example, or we could combine with Corinne on the previous use and what changes too. And looking forward, it's this combination of the soil sealing that is more frequent, a higher resolution, combined with other type of information on the, for example, the use, the previous use and the new use. The calculation with the new Corinne that will be available in 24, and then these two last bullet points are very relevant because we always need to understand in the context, because we can just look at the land take inside the city, but currently it's quite a continuum, urban, peri-urban, and rural, and probably most of these dynamic processes are here, and this is critical, and this then it's very much linked to nature-based solutions, green infrastructure, etc. So always, even we could have a good indicator, but we need to take into account the context, because maybe we are solving the issue here and then we are moving the problem here, or we are solving here and then are back here or there. And then it's important to look in the context of other dynamics, like the population change, but also this reuse and recycling. And that's all from my side. Thank you very much.